Fort Jesus Warriors Club. Topic: fear of uncertainty. I loved psychology. When I was taught psychology, it gave me some empowerment that I did not have. It gave me knowledge into the spheres of the human mind. It gave me ability to do prediction of people's reaction in situations. Psychology is a very interesting subject, a very nice subject. As a teacher, you have to learn psychology. So, in the colleges I was in, we had to learn child psychology. And so is the nursing profession, and so is the security profession. The military and the police have to learn psychology. At least you need a certain level of psychology to be able to interact with people and be able to predict their reaction to your interaction with them. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because fear of uncertainty will make us do weird things. Things that we would not have done under normal circumstances. Because we're not sure of tomorrow. I had an interesting psychology teacher, and one time he came and asked us a question. How would you know that a certain child comes from a certain type of background apart from the dressing? We said maybe the way they talk, but mostly we were able to identify from the dressings. So he told us, you can use some pictures. And from the picture interpretation, the way the child comprehends the activities on that picture will bring out the living situation that the child is in. So he gave us an example and told us, take a photograph of somebody in the night, or a picture rather. Somebody jumping over the fence in the night. A fence. There is a house. There's somebody trying to scramble over the fence. And then ask children what is happening to get their reaction. First, a child from an insecure society will look at that picture and tell you those people are in trouble. A burglar is just getting over the fence. Their things are going to be stolen. They may even be battered to death. Then, take the same picture to where a parent comes late and sometimes has to open the gate, sometimes lacks the keys. So this is a person who's been having a good time out there and has suddenly realized on reaching home, he doesn't have a way to. So instead of disturbing the children or the family, is climbing over the fence to see how he can be able to get his way inside. Take it to another child. The child will look at the picture and tell you, yes, this guy today is going to get rich. He's planned and he knows the owner of that house is not in. He's getting over the fence and there must be things of great value in that house. After this deed, if he's not caught, he'll be having some money. That is people interpretations being given to you according to the kind of lifestyle that they lead. I was given another example, and I was told, now that one was not by the teacher, somebody else, a colleague, because mostly what happens, even in classes, when we are teaching, if there is a child who learns faster, you give the few examples, and then if you realize the child is operating very well, and you want to go for remedial for the poor learners, you let this child take charge of a small group. So as you are teaching the slow learners, the remedial teaching within the lesson, the child is acting as a peer teacher. He has the knowledge. To those who are not very slow, he's able to share with them, discuss with them, impart that skill. To the slow learners, you have again to start from the beginning. So it will give you time to do that. And for this one to help you where you will not have finished. And by the end of the lesson, everybody is at par. But what happens is that some people feel whatever they have may not be their share of things. And that brings a big problem. Because if a child steals a pencil from another child and steals a rubber from another child, when a child from the opposite side comes to sit, the retort will be, and don't steal from my bag. Because he knows that if he goes to another place, sometimes those are his intentions. So anybody sees in that situation, he sees that person as a threat. The person may not be a threat. 2, I realized this was from a personal experience. When my second-born was born, the firstborn was calm. But with the coming of the second-born, the firstborn became wild, would look for a stick trying to beat up the small child. And I realized one thing. He had been the only child in the family. And here was somebody competing for the same attention. So the basic mind, survival mind, was telling him, attack this enemy. This is the source of attention to you diminishing. Why do I say this? Many countries are suffering such situations. Today I looked at the news on TV and there was a discussion on xenophobia. And yes, It was a good discussion. I didn't watch it to the end, but I was able to grasp a few things. I asked myself, these people who react to the situation that way, are they right in reacting to that situation? And I looked at it from a different perspective. If you have 3 slices of bread, you have a stronger brother who takes 2, a sister who is slightly stronger who takes almost 2/3 of the other remaining slice. What would be your reaction if another visitor comes and is talking of, I'm hungry, can I have some food to eat? What will your reaction be? To me, the reaction would be, this is the little I have to eat. Where did you come from? Don't you have a home? Don't you have a house? So sometimes, some problems that we get in places that we go to are created by situations in our own home places. Because the way God assigned us, it is in the Bible that God made man. Is it Revelation? Revelation. The revelation of John. God created man of every kind and every color and every language in their different geographical locations. I was born in Kenya. Somebody was born in Uganda. Another one was born in Tanzania. Another one was born in Ethiopia. And to those who say that desert is not beautiful, somebody was born in Saudi Arabia, desert. Don't they like it? They like it. They even love the desert. You find somebody who is born in the savannah, he loves the savannah. Somebody who is born in the Tundra region, where there is ice, he tell you good stories of seal hunting and how you can make a house. Formerly, nowadays they make wooden and whatever, but there are times when they would just make a house out of snow. Imagine here when you're given some ice cream and you're eating ice cream, sometimes it's a torture to you. When you get an ice pack, it's so cold for people who come from the equator like me. But somebody from the Tundra region will tell you that we make blocks of ice, stick them with soft ice, and when you get inside, it's warm and cozy. Tell that to somebody in the equator and he tells you, you get in, it is death. So different people get used to their different situations. Well, I don't blame whatever is happening to the people who immigrated first. Because some of the things that are making us move is the way our brains were nurtured. There is nature and there is nurture. To people who were under the British rule, your dream was to be a Briton, to live in Britain, to experience the winter, to experience the summer, to experience the spring. And here you are in a land where it's only rainy season and dry season. And you try to break this one into summer, winter, and it can't. And your dream is Europe. Because that's where your mind was nurtured to be. So it started with nurture. And many of us, when we get money or we get a chance to go, we would like to live in Europe. We would like to live in America. We would like to live in places where people who nurtured our thinking live. We would like to live a life like theirs. And this has resulted to many of us fleeing even opportunities in our home countries, getting to another place. When we get to those places, we crowd the places. That is a fact. And it reaches a point where the people in those places start complaining because they feel we are a threat to their resources, which is partially true. Sometimes we are, sometimes we are not. Sometimes we may be an addition because you may be resourceful mentally, you may be resourceful in the way you work, you may be resourceful in ideas. But to a person who belongs to that place, because naturally you are supposed to be in your home also, feels every disadvantage is from you. They are partially right to feel so, because they're entitled to their lands. That's why in many places, even in Kenya, you may be having 100 acres, and if somebody threatens to get 0.5 of an acre, you will find and kill one another over that 0.5. Why are you fighting over that 0.5? You have 100 acres. So, what I was talking in the past, we have to change our attitude, and we have to think of developing where we came from. Go to a place, if you have learned or gotten your education, sometimes come back. Sometimes there are no jobs. We've created the situation because of financial flight. That's what we do. Anybody living here is thinking of how to invest in Europe, in America. Get the money in the correct way or corruptly take it to America. Take it to Britain. Take it to the other country that you know you may flee to or you will be visiting, and you want to be recognized of somebody of status in that country, not in your country. So this is a high time we went back and thought of ourselves. Are our government system assisting us to retain the manpower here, to retain the wealth here? Or are they contributing to what is making people go to create that xenophobia situation? Because anyway, those people from those countries give the taxes. It is their tax. The things that are being made, the services, are their services. And when other people who are supposed to get those services from elsewhere come, they are crowding their resources. So I will not say they are not justified to complain. I would only say that as they complain, they should also look at other aspects that can be about these strangers bring in, because they may also be assets in different positions, different designations. But it's a high time that African societies, Asian societies, some Asian societies, South America and Central America and Africa, we have got this big problem. Flight of our resources by our leaders, our rich people, and then they follow those things to stick in those other lands. That's why the American government had problems and still has problems with people coming from the South going there. There was a time, an attempt to build a wall in Mexico. But then when these people flood in Mexico, what would happen? They would always find a way round. So the countries that were and were supposed to assist these people do it wrongly, because they give aid to people to go and Put that aid on the ground and you know what happens. I've talked that in the past things. But this one also comes now to us living ourselves. Because there are times when we feel the country is good for us. And we would like others to migrate so that we enjoy the resources of the country. And this sometimes you feel it. Because there are times when you are doing something and it is interpreted you are attacking certain communities within your country. And you give an encouragement that if you took flight, it will be better for you outside. Sometimes situations that are brought because people want to rise to power or want to get certain items ends up in violence, which translates to people moving outside. So for the African community, the South American community, and the Central American communities, you know, it's surprising when people say a country like Haiti is just at the cost of the United States. And then you find the economic situation may be worse than some of the other countries this side. And what is their dream? To get to America, of course. So, if we were able to tackle the economic problems from their source, you wouldn't have this problem of xenophobia, because the way God wired our mind, you enjoy where you are born. That is the thing. You are born where there is snow, you like to stay where there's snow. Even if you come to these other places, you come for a skin tan, you want the sun to change your skin a bit, and then you go back home. If you come from the African situation, you go enjoy the snow in other places, see the way it is, but you like to come back to the equator. So let's enhance these things. And let's encourage those who come to visit our countries or work in our countries that we like them. But also, not be lax with the rules of immigration. There are times when people talk of situation where you can come freely, it ends up giving you problems in the long run. So it is good that people encourage their people to live in their countries, and also people take a stand to participate in the building up of their politics, the structures, and the economy. Otherwise, xenophobia will be a problem. It will still remain a problem. And there are some people who have been taught, nurtured, that certain communities are not good. Certain races are not good. So no matter how much you try to struggle, you not fit within those places. Let's have a situation where people go for knowledge out, come back to your country. Ensure that you make the political situation and your politicians be able to be productive and keep their resources in the country. I liked the first president of Tanzania. Nyerere had everything in Tanzania. Everything. You wanted, you would know this is the amount of wealth he has. That's where it is. He would go to the hospitals in Tanzania. Tanzanian nurses had a chance of treating their president. What a privilege. You can say, I've treated my president. How many nurses in many of these countries who can say they have even given the president medicine when he's got a cold? In a public hospital? Nyerere's son was schooling in Dar es Salaam University, Dar. Tell me of an African minister whose child goes to the local university. He'll be telling you Harvard, Oxford, those big names. That is where the problem is. Let's learn to be ourselves. Learn to adjust to the geographical positions that God gave us. And we shall cause less stress to others, because when we are amongst our family members, you are not a stress to your family. Let's create situations that will allow us to be in our countries and enjoy being in our countries by investing. Let the president's money be in a country. Why should a president in any country be keeping their money outside? It means you're not even sure, you're not certain of your own country. For those presidents in Africa and other parts of the world who are fully invested, it's not bad to be rich. You may be a businessman and doing several other things. You are president. You rose to that power through. Be rich, but be rich in your country. Why should you be rich and your money is in other places? Here you have nothing, the country is. So, that is my view. Let the civilians learn to hold their leaders accountable. We are not. Here people talk in fear and they talk tribal. Here in Kenya and other countries, I'll be truthful. We talk tribal. We are not nationalistic, most of us. And when we are told we are not nationalistic, we say those telling us are tribal. So unless we take that stand, we shall keep being a bother to other people. Because you can find reactions in those countries that people say, in case things flare up here, I'll go to Australia, I'll go to the United States, I'll go to Europe. Their reaction is, you are becoming a burden, even before the problems. And they are not wrong to say that, because it's their resources that you're going to consume. So let's learn to keep peace, hold our leaders accountable, hold ourselves accountable. My African brothers, this is where we have a big problem. We want to steal, we want to do everything, but blame it on the leaders. If I cannot be able to be responsible with finances at my level, if I'm given a job, what gives me the moral authority to blame the topmost person? Some of our wealth is ill-gotten, it's mostly not here, and it's revamped here for political or such purposes. Let us be real. Let us love Africa. If you are Kenyans, let us love Kenya. If you are Ugandans, love Uganda. If you are Tanzanians, love Tanzania. If you are from Rwanda, love Rwanda. Put your resources there, settle there, participate to the organization of the politics in your country, so that you have a better country to live in. You don't become a bother elsewhere. I'm sorry to say that. It may sound cruel, it may sound harsh, but in some places, if you go, even when you are not told, you don't be told, but you know you are a bother. That's my take for now.